Intensify your mail, your direct mail. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. I'm going to be talking about this particular piece of direct mail in a minute. First, I just wanted to let you know, if you haven't seen any of this series of videos that we've done over the last few nights, go back and rewatch them. I call them the intensification videos, I guess. I don't know, series. It's a series of videos that I've done so far on how to kind of where to start if you're looking to take a specific tactic and put a whole lot more emphasis on it. Tomorrow we're going to be covering intensifying social media. Today we want to talk about direct mail. Okay, direct mail is still very profitable if done right, and very useful. It's a way to show up in a different way than everybody else, especially if you start online. It's a great way to be able to create physicality to your business, because it's a strange thing. Now that more and more things are becoming virtual, people crave more and more physical. So if you think physical print is dead, you're wrong. And if you think anything that's physical is dead, just because it has competition doesn't make it dead. It just means it's not the only thing on the block anymore. Now there's more to it, and there always has been. I mean, since any of you guys have been alive, I mean, since probably the advent of radio, we could say that there's always been electronic advertising for as long as we can remember. It's just become more and more and more specific when you start having internet and start making it so readily available to everybody. To be able to advertise inexpensively, if not free. So where's direct mail fit in? Direct mail fits in to cover the other bases, to hit a person where no one else is hitting them. Oftentimes it could be done, it could be used for lead generation, though there are a lot other methods that are less expensive for lead generation. It all depends on the lead that you're going after and how much you're looking on the back end for the sale. So if the sale's high enough, and if you have a specific enough crowd and you've got their addresses, then yeah, direct mail can work. Something as simple as a postcard can get attention if it shows up the right way to the right person. It's all about the message. It's all about the content, the offer that you're making within the direct mail. Most people, when they send out direct mail, they do it like a lot of other advertising. It may have a message. It may be saying something, but it doesn't necessarily have a call to action, a specific thing that you're wanting people to do, and a clear way of how to achieve it. Okay, that's the one thing you need. It all comes back to, what do I want to do with direct mail? Same answer we had for every other intensification that we're talking about. You got to start out with, what is the end goal? And with that end goal, is it a metric that I can measure? Will I know by the time that mail goes out and we get all the replies back, whether we get them going to a website or making a phone call or sending a mailer back? If you're doing that, by the time those come back, you should have an idea of whether it was profitable or not. Or at least you should have an idea about if you got what you thought you were going to get off of it. That's the whole idea, is having a very clear idea about what you're getting off of it. It's not as unusual in direct mail because so few people use it now. I don't know if you remember a good 10, 15 years back when you would open up your mailbox and it would be stuffed full of junk mail. I mean, it was everywhere. It was coming out everywhere. And it wasn't useful. It lost its usefulness. It was still useful. They wouldn't be doing it if they weren't making money. They were making money. But it was a lot tougher for just anybody to be able to use direct mail. But now a simple card in the mail is direct mail. I mean, literally, if you had a little card that you put in a little envelope that you sent out to people, that's direct mail, and it's business. You can use it for business, and you can show up in ways that other people just can't show up. And you can watch all the other videos we have on how to really take advantage of direct mail. There's a whole lot of sneaky tricks and things that are just as useful today as they have been, since the absolute heyday of mailers. And so I want to give you an example of somebody that just recently sent me this, and I believe I may have talked about this previously. I don't remember if I brought up this certain thing, but I know I brought up a package I got from her last year. Her name's Janice Cox. Okay, and she sends me a priority mail. This is an inexpensive way to be able to show up. Nobody ignores these. Nobody throws these away. Okay, that's the best thing about priority mail. It gets attention because it's the same shape and size as a mailer you'd get from FedEx or an overnight package or a UPS mailer like this. And these things never get ignored unless the person doesn't live where you're sending it, and in that case you get it back. You're going to get this thing open, which is the toughest thing about direct mail, is just getting the darn thing open or the darn thing paid attention to. So she sends me, and this is basically, in this package, she stuffed it full of things. She stuffed it with her latest book. This is all about lavender. She is the lavender queen, and she lives here locally in Southern Oregon. This is a beautiful lavender, a guide and workbook for growing, using, and enjoying lavender. If you have any interest in lavender, this is a great book to get. It's not super thick. It's put out by Ogden Publications. Those are the folks that do Mother Earth News. And really great book. I mean, I really appreciate this chance. She signs it for me. We had a podcast with her last year on the Off the Grid Biz podcast. So I keep in touch with Janice. I'm going to have her on my latest podcast, which I'll tell you more about when we launch. And she put in here, this is Oregon lavender destinations for 2020. So you got the list with the map. This is specifically for Southern Oregon, and shows you all the schedule of events and farm hours. It's a whole thing. By the way, lavender is a funny thing. Lavender is one of those things that has popped up. It's not like it hasn't existed, but it's popped up as a boutique situation to where people will go on lavender tours the same way they'd go on wine tours or beer tours or anything else. It's really interesting how they've been able to take advantage of tourism and so forth. She sent me a couple of these brochures and maps. She sent me an envelope with my name on it, with some of her postcards and everything that she has in, or they're not really postcards. This is Plants Make You Beautiful. This is just a little thing about people contacting her, and then special. She's got her own stationery here with a little message for me. This is before I even interviewed her this year, and she gives me all this stuff. This is what we call a shock and awe package. You overload a person with some material, with something that they'd be interested in, and you shock and awe. It's just, you sit it to them and you just blow them away. They can't ignore it. There's no way to ignore it. What am I going to do? Throw it away? I mean, I'm not going to ignore it, and it's going to be sitting around even if I don't have a place for it. I already have a spot on the bookshelf for it and everything, and my wife's going to grab it before I put it up there. So that's what it's all about. You can go big, you can go small. Direct mail all has to do with the end goal in mind. What do I want to do with this? And is it going to get the job done? So you got to talk to people who know about it before you go in big. You could start small with direct mail. Before you go in big and invest a whole lot of money into it, either start small or get in touch with someone that has some direct mail experience. So if you'd like to talk with me about your business and using direct mail to your benefit and see if it would be to your benefit or not, go check out brianjpombo.com. You can watch the other videos. You could also contact me there. And if you want, you could set yourself up with an Amazon proof strategy session. That's at brianjpombo.com/Amazon. You can find that link in the description. We'll be back tomorrow night. In the meantime, just get out there and let the magic happen.